And we're live! Welcome to another Wargamers Hangout, guys! Been what, 3 weeks? Something like that.
A little while. We're working on being pretty much the most inconsistent and inconsiderate hangout on the internet.
Yeah. Right when you think we're... No. Exactly, no.
Like when Dan tells people it's going to be on Tuesday. Thanks.
that was totally my bad. Oh, someone didn't mute their thing. That was me. Okay, so...
We've got... Oh, well, obviously, I'm Miranda with Wargamer Girl. That's Dan over there, the rude one. And we've got our special guest, Austin from Brush for Hire. We couldn't get his lower third to work. So we're just going to remind you every time he pops up that he's Austin from Brush for Hire.
Hi, Austin from Brush for Hire. How have you been?
I've been pretty great. How about you?
I've been fantastic. I have continued growing my facial hair. For those of you who don't know you are usually with a mustache.
Yes. This is a really bizarre experience for me recently. I haven't not had a mustache for a couple of years now, at least 3 or 4. So I feel naked.
I know the feeling. When I grew my beard out for a full year of and then I shaved it all off, I was just like, ah!
I keep having involuntary twitches where I'll try to grab for facial hair and it's not there, and it just feels stupid. Like I'm just like, oh yes,
mm-hmm. You just look like you touch your face a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, he had a majestic stash. It was well maintained and perfect waxed, and it was just it was a mustache to be jealous of.
Well, thank you.
Oh, very welcome.
So we've got quite a bit, actually, apparently, we want to talk about, but we're going to start off because we're going to grill our friend, Austin, from Brush for Hire, on kind of what he said.
About the lower third.
Not sorry enough.
Apparently not.
So obviously you have Brush for Hire.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Brush for Hire is a company that started out actually not doing any painting commissions at all and just did YouTube content. Then we started doing stuff for mini wargaming, and then we actually did start doing commission painting, and now we branched out into a bunch of other stuff, mostly laser cutting terrain and game accessories and base inserts and all kinds of other fun stuff. So that's mostly what we do now.
But Austin from Brush for Hire, I don't understand. Your shirt has a different name.
Wow. So, segue. This is the new company that we are transforming into. Mostly, we're doing this rebrand because, as I mentioned before, the name of the company, Brush for Hire, doesn't exactly fit our mostly laser cutting business now. We do still do commission painting, but the big focus, it feels like right now for us, is on laser cutting. So that we wanted something a little bit more generic that could encompass everything.
Yeah. No, and the laser cut terrain stuff's really cool. I haven't put together the terrain we bought yet from you, but I do have your base inserts for my Wrath of Kings miniatures, and
awesome.
Those are looking really cool. So I like the base inserts a lot. And is that all available on the Brush for Hire website right now, or?
Brushforhire.com with the number 4. We've got all kinds of base inserts for Wrath of Kings and Dark Age and Malifaux and War Machine and Infinity. So got all the
and you will eventually see some of it on my channel. What was that, Dan?
The link's in the description. If you
fantastic.
Wow. Did you do that?
Damn, it's the first time I've done it before the show. So okay, I got a question for you, Austin.
Sure.
So why Death Ray? Who made up that name? How did that come about?
I came up with it, but I guess mostly because I'm a big fan of retro sci-fi stuff, and I don't know if you can see very well on the shirt logo, but it's a UFO with a
a tractor beam, or perhaps a death ray, as some might say.
And we just kind of went with it. We were like, okay, what's a fun, interesting name and slap design on the end of it, and that kind of generically covers all of the stuff that we do. We design and produce terrain and game accessories, and can even cover our painting stuff. And on top of that, aside from all the gaming stuff that we do, we kind of have a like weird sort of hidden business on the side, which is larger art and cosplay commissions. We've done stuff for short films. We've done props and costuming for short films. We did actually an IBM commercial last year, and that's always interesting stuff. But there's just not really a good way to like inject that into our mainstream company portfolio, I guess. It's stuff that we managed to wrangle on the side that people are like, hey, you make things, can you make stuff for us? So.
Yes, Austin, if you aren't familiar with him or haven't met him at conventions, you make all kinds of things. You are actually a man of a ton of talents. In fact, you're doing cosplay work and stuff right now, are you not?
Yes, and that's the reason for the shaving too. I'm going to do a comic book Ant-Man costume for Dragon Con this year. So, and in fact, if you'll pardon me for 1 second, I've got the raw casting of the helmet here. So.
Yes, please. Oh wow. So you've even got it all. Does it just interlock then onto your
it's
head?
magnetized. So
That's awesome.
it is more than snug, I think, though. It is really, really tight on there, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't squeeze your temples too much, I know that'll give me a headache in about 4 seconds.
We're gonna put lots of padding on the inside of it, but right now we've got the casting done, and then. Now,
what is that made out of?
It's resin.
That is a resin cast. Okay.
Yeah.
Those
We
actually-
did slush casting, and then just cut all the eye panel stuff out. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes, that's the other favorite thing I like to talk to Austin about is the cosplay stuff, because he is very good at it and has helped like at least semi-professional people make some really cool costumes. And I plan to do this at some point, so.
You should definitely come to Dragon Con. It is definitely a really fun time. But I guess being out closer, to the West Coast, it'd probably be easier to go to Comic-Con out there.
You'd think. Either way, it's kind of a stretch in both directions. But
Right.
Dragon Con just sounds fun after hearing about like the walking robots that have speakers attached to them, and everywhere they go, there's like a dance party that follows them. That captured my imagination, I guess.
I think I'd like follow that around for like half an hour.
Yeah.
Which, as you'll know, is the maximum time of the attention span. So that's really impressive.
It is. I think more so it would be I would just fall over exhausted because I'd be like dancing like crazy hardcore the entire time. That's what I estimate is like my limit of dancing nonstop.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's like August, September in Atlanta, so it's pretty hot.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, and most people are dressed up, right? Most people are cosplaying in some capacity.
Yeah. The first year I went, actually, and I think you would approve, I went as a winter guard, and I almost died of heat stroke because I was wearing a shirt followed by, I think it was the shirt and then trench coat and then all the fur collar lining and then the fur hat and leather gloves and boots, and I was miserable walking around outside in that. It was a bad plan.
No, some of the design elements I actually want to incorporate into my costume would be for the purposes of cooling. Like, I've wondered about like getting like a evaporative cooling type system in there or something. Because if it's steampunk, you can put hoses everywhere, so you might as well make them function. It's my thought.
Absolutely.
So, what would you be, Dan? What would you dress up as? Would you be my warjack?
Dan,
Or
get your
be free
no.
and leave us
Yeah.
hanging. as always.
What a jerk.
Considerate jerk. Wow. We don't need him anyway. Now, how many years have you been going to Dragon Con, Austin?
Let's see here. I think this is either 4th or 5th year that I've been. I'm trying to think of what costumes I did each year. The first year was Winter Guard and one of the Monarch henchmen from Venture Brothers. And then the second year, I think I did Injustice Gods Among Us Green Arrow. And then, what did I do last year? I don't even remember. Everything's such a blur.
Too much partying at Dragon Con?
Actually, no. I'm kind of a fuddy-duddy when I go. Mike is always one of my friends. Mike is always trying to drag me out to all these things, and I'm always so sad when I hear about what he did in the morning. But I'm always exhausted from the day, and then I'm just like, I'm just gonna go sleep now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of really great people that we've met at Dragon Con. Eddie McClintock we ran into. He is Pete Latimer on Warehouse 13. I mean, we've gone to tons of panels and stuff and seen celebrity folks from a distance.
Yeah.
But we also ran into Aaron Ashmore, who was with Eddie McClintock in the Marriott one night. And who else have we run into? I kind of like literally bumped into in one of the crowded hallways Grant Imahara from Mythbusters. It was like, oh, that looked like that was Grant Imahara. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what I would do. I've just noticed them all after the fact. Like, I probably would have carried on a conversation and not clicked that, I was talking to, like, some famous celebrity.
Yeah,
they look different.
Then you're cycling back through and you're like, oh, hi, how about that? I was talking to them.
We hang out. How about that? That's kind of fantastic. So, Dan, are you working now? No, you have no sound.
No audio.
So you're not. So why waste our time?
Me with no lower third, Dan with no audio.
Man, this is a Bush League Hangout.
Kinda.
This is Google Hangouts. That's the highest quality you go. Alright, I just can't finish that with a straight face. The most clunky, like, buggy program I've ever dealt with. Anyway, so yes, I definitely want to hit up Dragon Con next year so badly, so I hope you continue to go every year, and then I can show off what we make on our side.
Yay! I don't think that there's any way that any of my group would let me not go.
Oh, yeah?
Like, almost every single year, at some point, I threaten to not go because I'm so frustrated with how the costumes are coming. And I'm like, let's just get this done. We'll stay up all night. It's fine.
Well, how long have you been working on this Ant-Man one?
The sculpt took probably better part of like 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And that was actually mostly my wife sculpting, and then I helped clean stuff up, and then took us about a week to do the mold, and then an evening to do a cast, and I've been trimming and cutting and things, but it's been so spread out because we've got like costume commissions that we have to fill before we go to Dragon Con, a lot of stuff that we were just going to take with us and give to people there. And so we've kind of had to back burner our own stuff until we're done with that. So, but yeah, it's a significant amount of time, and the group that does the most of the cosplaying stuff with us, if anybody's interested in checking them out, Contagious Costuming on Facebook, and Caitlin, who is most of the time the model wearing all of the stuff there, is also the seamstress. She designs all of the clothing and like soft garment stuff.
Yeah.
And she's fantastic. She's working on the actual spandex suit for Ant-Man for me. So.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Sammy's wanting to know if you use clay wax or something else for the initial sculpt. What are you using to initially do that?
We're using Monster Clay for the initial sculpt. We started on the old oil mannequin head thing. It's one of the larger ones. It's supposed to be more to scale with an actual human man head as opposed to the teeny tiny heads that are pretty prevalent. But yeah, we use monster clay. It's great stuff. It's kind of it's a oil-free sculpting clay. It's kind of waxy, but you can melt it down kind of like plastilina and pour it into molds and things if you need to rework already molded things. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fantastic. So it's a few months, at least, of preparation for a convention. So you turn out about one costume a year for yourself, I'm guessing.
Yeah, usually just one for me, but it's sometimes there's more. A lot of times there'll be like the main one, and there'll be some like fun go out at night party ones. Like the first year, I spent a lot of time on the Winter Guard costume, and then the Henchman costume was really easy. It was essentially like a weird yellow cut-off T-shirt thing over a black like spandex suit, and then like a weird mask, and that was it. That was easy to just throw on and go out with. So. But, yeah.
That sounds fun. You have your going out costume, and you're staying in costume, and you're having tea costume. I'm gonna do all of that.
Yeah.
Dan, while you're on the phone, I don't even understand what you're doing. You have no sound. You need to be fixing that. Anyway, yes, that's very exciting. I can't wait to see your finished cosplay stuff. Are you doing videos or any of the like process stuff? There's a lot of cosplay stuff out there.
Yeah, the Mike from Contagious Costuming, he is usually our main like photographer, videographer that just he's there with us. He's actually Caitlin's husband. I've known him for a very long time, and he's definitely into the photography and videography side of things. He and I actually went to school for video together, and he's more or less taken over a lot of that stuff. So, and I think with the exception of some like, you know, very small scale costume stuff that he's doing this year, he's just focusing on photography and videography. So.
Which is awesome because I imagine that becomes pretty full time when you have multiple people running around.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think he sleeps at all during it, so he's out late night doing stuff at parties and all kinds of stuff. I think we've lost Dan altogether.
Yeah, I think he just got bored and wandered off. He's like, cosplay, that's for nerds.
Like wargaming isn't already there. Come on now.
Hey, I was very excited to notice that Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance paints Nurgle miniatures. I was like, hey, that's a thing. So,
yeah.
That made my day.
I've heard rumor that the late great Robin Williams played 40K at some point.
Yeah, he kind of did. I can't remember what he played though.
I've heard Eldar. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That sounds, you know, personality-wise in line. Come on.
It seems legit. That's true.
That's Robin Williams.
Yeah. This is true. So, on that note, I don't know what to do with Dan here because we're going to go all-in-one army boxes for folks. Apparently, he's just going to have to scrawl signs. Oh, he keeps yelling at me with his hands, and I don't appreciate that. He's yelling at me with his face. So, yeah, I'm really hoping I can have a proper costume next year. Because we've messed around with the vacuum forming. At this point, I want to have a costume that's made of an actual resin material so that, well, I kind of want to be able to roughhouse in my costume, basically.
Yeah.
So I need something that's going to be hardy and...
yeah. That a lot of the products from Smooth On, like there's a bunch of products that are really good for doing stuff that's really impact resistant. The Simpact line is fantastic for that. We've made props that have to stand up to, you know, all kinds of beatings out of that. So.
Yeah. No, Smooth On stuff is really good. They were the product we used for our Kickstarter when we finished. So.
Oh, is Dan back? Is he?
Hello?
Hey!
Woo! Well, I'm glad you guys can talk.
Yeah.
It was interesting to listen to.
It's so interesting. Well, you're on the phone. Very interesting.
I know. It seemed this guy is having trouble at work, and
You really are like the most inconsiderate man on the internet.
I wasn't actually live with you guys, so I thought I'd give him
The audience was yelling at you.
I saw. That's why I hung up.
Anyway, yes, Sam, we did lose Batgirl today. Did you hear about that? The news has been full of such tragedies lately. That's why I want to just
Wait,
talk
Batgirl? What happened to Batgirl?
She died. I mean, it was the original Batgirl, I think. So I don't know how old she was.
Like, just old age?
I do not know the full story.
As a Joker.
What's that? It was the Joker.
No, it was the Joker.
All right.
Wow, that was like really important.
Find out now it was like some tragic injury.
I saw that like some guy that dressed up as Batman and like brought joy to thousands of children got run over by his own Batmobile.
Well, like, it was parked on the side of the road and somebody hit it while he was standing in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty
Awful.
Yeah.
There you go. Tammy said it was. She was born in 1937, so most likely old age. So she had a good, hopefully rich, happy life, and
We're gonna assume yes.
Yeah.
or breast cancer. All right,
breast
enough
cancer.
of the sad, tragic news. Let's talk about some nerdy crap in here. So,
Yeah.
also to answer your question, Canvas, Warbler is a very popular cosplay material, but it isn't that resilient. It seems like you really kind of use it over things. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Austin. I have never used Warbler, but I've seen it a lot, and it's very thin.
Well, one of the ways that you can do like just straight Warbler props is you can actually just stack multiple layers of Warbler up. It actually comes with a heat-activated adhesive on the back, and a lot of times if we're doing stuff where we need to just form kind of a shell out of something, we'll heat up two pieces and sandwich or the adhesive together, and then we'll either just form it and then cut it out, or throw a sheet of like double stack in the laser cutter, laser cut the shape we need, and then form that. So a lot of times if we're doing like the thin masks, like the Robin mask, we'll cut we'll do measurements on somebody, and then we'll cut essentially a blank mask of like the double stack stuff, and then heat it up and push it onto their face, and it conforms to their face. The thing that I don't like about Warbler is the texture. It looks like a weird hammered pitted metal, and sometimes it's a good thing, but if you want something really smooth, you end up having to do a lot of coating and a lot of sanding, and it's just kind of a pain when you probably could have made a form and then vacuum formed it at that point. So.
Fair enough. All right, Dan, are
What?
you ready?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about these all-in-one army boxes.
Yes, as an audience suggestion, Sammy actually specifically, so thank you. We're going to discuss the all-in-one army boxes. I don't know if we'll get through them all. We tend to meander a lot, so probably not. But we are going to work on, I guess, the War Machine ones, and I guess we might as well start with like the best one, I figure. So like, how about that Khador army all-in-one box?
Let's do it.
I've had experience
all-in-one
with
box?
one, so I actually have opinions on it.
It's good. It is now just precursor. All the all-in-one boxes, just like Privateer Press fashion, they're not all the same price. They're based on again what is in it, but they're similar. They range anywhere from
120.
well, because I think they're 129 to 144. I'm not sure if there's a Canadian or U.S., but they're similarly priced. The Convergence of Osiris is the most expensive, and then and then Khador and Menoth are the second most expensive. But it's minute. You still get a good deal overall. Let's talk about Khador.
Yeah, well, everything in there is plastic, so it's part of how they designed the kits, I suspect. And it's a decent list. It's a semi-defense SKU list, because you're talking about Epic Sorsha. And she has the Winter Guard Death Star. Like, they actually put the full Death Star in there, so it actually ends up being a really strong unit that you're going to use anyway. With Coptic Joe, with Widowmakers, like all all of my favorite All-Stars are in there. They give you 2 heavy kits that you can turn into a Spriggan, Demolisher, or Devastator. And out of the box, they have the Spriggan and the Demolisher, which I personally would change out for a Devastator. But it's still like they're really good Jack options because they give you an answer to stealth with the Spriggan. I couldn't really figure out what the Demolisher is supposed to do. He walks around at high armor until he shoots with his terrible range 8 attacks. So I, again, would change him out for a Devastator. War Dog with Sorsha makes her like defense 18 running around from melee attacks. And then Ayana and Halt to help with armor cracking and some extra shooting. It's a very well-rounded combined arms list.
So, Ayana and Holt are a plastic kit now?
I guess, if it's in there. There's everything in there I thought was plastic.
It says in the description that the kit, the model materials are plastic and white metal. And that looks like the original sculpt. I would bet you that whole bottom row, the Widowmakers,
Joe,
War Dog, and Ayana and Holt are probably all metal. In fact, I think I remember seeing, because we did a commission for one of these not too long ago. I want to say it may even be the officer and standard bearer too, unless you know for a fact that those are in plastic now. Because there were, I want to say there were 5 blisters, or no, the 4 blisters into the box of the Widowmakers.
Well, I know they did the resculpt for the actual Winter Guard. So
Yeah.
all my models are so old. Like everything I have is metal, pretty much. I never think about all the new stuff. People in their fancy plastic that resists chipping.
No, but yeah, that's a solid list. Like that's what you're going to be wanting as a Khador player. You're going to be collecting those. So if you don't have any Khador, you want this box. If you're starting Khador, it's a great box.
And Sorsha 2 is very, very competitive and very strong. So.
Yeah, but I mean, in caster-wise, whatever. Casters are cheap and plentiful and whatever. But at the same time, but she's a solid caster anyway. So, but the list itself, you can play with other casters and grow it very easily. Which I like to look at like an all-in-one box. It's like, okay, so what, like, can you switch out different casters? Does the list just fall apart otherwise, or can you add to the list? Does that work well, or is it just like only good with this? And I think it's yeah.
Dan, what's happening?
What?
You're breaking the internet with your face.
What happened?
I don't know.
Did I freeze?
You're frozen.
Wait, so you can hear me, but my video's frozen.
That is correct.
Well, we're getting
it's
cards.
now. There you go. You're good. Yeah, the Winter Guard Infantry and Rocketeers is sold as a whole box set of 13, so it does not include the UA, which I'm guessing would still be the white metal then. So yeah, I guess they are. Which that just brings up the question then again: why on earth does Cygnars not have any mercenaries in the box?
I don't know. We're going on we're going on the Cygnars?
I think we've covered Khadors. Obviously, highly recommended. If you're going to start in on War Machine, you should start with Khador. That's the best list. Just go with that.
As a Cygnar player, I don't think I like this box.
Is it because there's no mercenaries in it? It's the only one without mercenaries.
Well, the thing is that Stormguard have their place in some lists, not overly competitive lists, really ever. You can buy the Silverline like blister and upgrade them, and so that's probably what you're going to be wanting to be doing if you buy this blister. Obviously, Arcane Temple's Gun Mages with the UA, that's necessary. Squire, that's necessary. Journeyman Warcaster, that's necessary. So like the bottom row of like the picture of the all-in-one box, like those are standard. You're gonna get those no matter what. And Siege is a very fun, very solid caster. He's awesome, and he's very underutilized. Although I think 2 years ago, he won with Siege, the Iron Arena or Iron Gauntlet.
Oh, nice.
Do you think that they just put the Stormguard in because they're the new plastic kit and tried to tailor a a box that worked well enough with them.
Maybe, except that Siege doesn't work overly well with the Storm. Like, okay, so the reason why the Storm Guard can synergize is they have basically you can see through them. So friendly faction models can see through them. So your Tempest Gun Mages can be behind them, Siege can be behind them, and they can shoot. And while they're in base to base or all like together, you can shoot right through them, and you don't have to like leave little gaps, so you're all vulnerable as well. So that's cool. But other than that, they're kind of just that melee unit that needs to keep guys back, because if you just leave Arcane Tempest Gun Mages by themselves, they will get swarmed, and then once they're in melee, they don't really do much at all. Unless they risk a free strike.
What's their melee?
They're meant 5, POW 9. Or maybe POW 7.
Okay, so it's kind of like when you engage Widowmakers. POW 7?
Yeah, they're pretty awful.
So it's as for the Jax, and that's the other thing. So the Avenger is, I mean, with his knockdown gun, if he hits, it can be really good. And then you have enough shots that you can just obliterate people. Defender is like a fun beginning Jack. As you get more competitive and more diverse with your list, I found that I have 2 Defenders, and I find that I barely play them at all anymore. But again, that's just me. But in competitive Cygnar lists, like anywhere, you will never see a Defender. But for a beginner, they are a fun Jack, and they can be useful, and they can help you kind of learn the game, learn Cygnar, because they have POW 16 hammer, which isn't great, but they're MAT 7, so they're actually pretty good in melee as well for certain things as a backup that does like Cortex damage and everything. So it's just like the hammer's actually pretty good, and the gun is amazing. And Siege is great. Yeah, under Siege's feet, you take out half the thing. But so it's just like it works. It's not like if you're getting in to play competitive, high level Cygnar, not the box for you. But as a beginner box, not bad. I would though buy the additional blister to upgrade the Storm Guard to the Silver Line, just because they are in general better.
Right. Agreed.
What is the third board deck the Defender can make? You have the Defender, the Ironclad,
and the Cyclone.
The Cyclone.
Does it come with the full kit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has Defender. The Ironclad. Cyclone is just like Cyclone could be cool. You could put it on the Tempest Gun Mages, and then with your D3 shots, you can push heavy jacks back across the board. You could potentially push them 10 inches. They're right in front of you, and you're like, no, and shoot them all the way back. So that could be funny, and probably knock them down in the process if you get a crit. And so, I mean, there's shenanigans involved, and if you magnetize it, of course, whatever. And then so if you get the full Avenger kit, it's also Hammersmith and Centurion. So Hammersmith, I've only had funny, silly lists. I beat Miranda with a couple Hammersmiths though, so they're not all bad. But the Centurion is probably the best one out of that. But then the Centurion doesn't synergize well with Siege. But again, it's good for beginners.
Does it
not as all as the Khador box.
But here's the question: Does the all-in-one army box for Cygnar give you an accurate representation of how Cygnar plays?
No.
No, I mean, you easily could, because, I mean, with the Khador box, you're playing defense, which Khador and troops do. And then you've got, high armor jacks, the highest armor jacks, actually. So it does give, I think, a very accurate sampling, whereas this, I mean, I just don't know if Cygnar quite does that.
It does in some aspects. Well, Cygnar can be played so many different ways.
That's true. That's true. Because you've got the Electro anyway, or.
And then you can bring a bajillion mercs, and they work really well with Cygnar. And so there's all that. And so it's just your infantry, you never really see Storm Guard because they're so expensive, and they're like to bring in a points list, and so they're hard to be your meat shield because they're so precious and you want them to survive. Although if they hit a Winter Guard, then they're killing 2 Winter Guard because they have POW 10 Electro Leaps, which is like they're really good against defense skew.
That's true. So it's
stuff like that. I think this list would probably lose to the Khador list.
Well, obviously.
We should try it, Miranda.
Oh, I have just recorded an all-in-one army box versus an all-in-one army box, and just to give out a little factoid about it, it ends on turn 8. So.
So a really fun game. You loved it.
But yeah.
Good times.
Now, Austin, what did you play when you played War Machine Hordes? Did you really play it much?
I played Khador.
Okay, so I mean, you played the Cryx faction anyway.
I haven't played in a while, and the quick and easy reason why I haven't is because I got super burned out playing a Journeyman League. I was playing about 13 games a week for 6 weeks straight, and I just decided I didn't want to look at those models anymore. No. I won every category except one, so I went super sweaty tryhard on that one. But
you showed them.
That's
so many games.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Why would you go so crazy?
Because there was no game cap on this one that we were doing.
You were gaming it? Well, then you asked to get burned down. Wow.
I wasn't the only one doing it, though, so I legitimately was competing with the other people who were playing multiple games a day to get ahead in points. So.
Journeyman leagues, I think, are a bit of a double-edged sword. I don't typically like them, personally, or slow grow leagues either, actually. I know it gives you time to paint them, but it feels like you're on training wheels too long.
Yeah.
I join them, and then if I don't feel like playing Journeyman League, I just bring another army that I like, and there's always somebody who doesn't want to play either. And so I occasionally play every week. I'm not like in it to compete. I'm like in it to like try something new and cool, and maybe teach some new people how to play a little bit.
Right.
But, like, I am more than willing during the Journeyman League to just play another faction that's not counting towards the league. Like, I don't go to the level of Austin.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore either. For the most part right now, I'm playing Wrath of Kings and Malifaux, and I'm hoping. I've tried so many times. I really want to like Infinity, and I just can't learn the rules. Like, I've tried so many times, and it's so frustrating because there's so much stuff to keep in my head that I'm like, I can't get my head around all the meta. Like, there's just so many options. And so
Infinity just punishes you, right? It's like if you make one mistake, you're just like.
Oh yeah. It is a super punishing game, but I do like the fact that there's almost no such thing as a hard counter. It's like if I take list A and you take list B is not a counter to list A. You could play it better than I can play my list, but there's no such thing as a like, well, this automatically beats that, so just go ahead and pack up your models and go home.
Where half the game is in the list building.
Yes. Yeah.
Although Infinity has an extremely complex list building, like procedures, as far as I can tell. I mean, each individual model you are outfitting uniquely.
Yeah, but even at that, it's not as complicated. There's not as many options even then than like 40K. 40K, any particular unit, you could give it, this upgrade and this kind of gun and this special ability and any combination of those things, whereas Infinity, for each troop type, you're like, okay, I have a list of pre-configured things that I can do. You can say, I can take this guy with a combi rifle, this guy with a multi-rifle, this guy with a sniper rifle, this guy with a hacking unit, and or hacking device. but you can't say, well, I want a hacking device and a sniper rifle. If it's not in the list, you can't take that combo. So, but anyway, point is the main things I'm playing right now are Malifaux and Wrath of Kings, and actually some Dark Age now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that game is really surprisingly easy to pick up too. Have you guys played it?
I've demoed it a couple of times. Dark Age is it's kind of weird.
Fun.
Yeah, no, it's super fun to pick up. Yeah. It's a great way to introduce somebody to wargaming, but for some reason it doesn't seem to get the traction it needs. Like, you don't really see it at convention play. The models sell well, and if you do actually try out the game, you're like, oh my god, that's it? Like, this is beautiful.
Yeah, like, all of the special rules are on the cards, and they're not complicated. They're not, like, overly, like, okay, I need to look up what this keyword means and what this ability does. It's like, it's all on the card, and as long as you can keep about 10 rules in your head about, like, the general mechanics of, like, when you move, when you attack, and what dice to roll for what things, then you're golden.
Yeah.
So,
which is kind of, in my opinion, how more games should be.
Totally.
Like, oh, I know my stuff really well, and that means a lot. It's now we're just tangenting, but one of the issues I have with kind of Malifaux, like, I like the game, I love the aesthetic of it. I mean, I think that's why, in my experience with it, more girls play Malifaux than any other war game. It's just the aesthetic is really interesting.
Yeah.
But there are a million billion special rules, and you're like, oh, here's this thing, and he does this, and oh, look, I just moved 7 models and went halfway across the table, and you're like, all right.
Yeah. Well, that happened.
Fighting Mario can be frustrating. Stupid dogs. But yeah, so just that many special rules where it's like, oh, that's great that you like your faction and you have this list you've put together, but unless you know everyone else's, and obviously War Machine kind of suffers that too. I guess more and more games keep going towards special rules, at least on the skirmish level, rather than like.
The only way to keep it lively, I mean, but the thing is, you keep expanding that, and then it becomes impossible for you to know everything unless you dedicate an inordinate amount of time to it.
Which,
when you start playing different systems, and that's when it just everything's like,
Well, yeah, I mean, if you like to hop lots of games, or you just like playing all these games in general, it's really hard to get any particular one unless you are slogging through it. It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You don't like it anymore.
Even X-Wing miniatures used to be so simple and small, but they keep on coming with expansions and all these different little cards, and like, my buddies are kind of more into it. They made that their main game, and they're like, oh yeah, this tournament list and all this kind of crazy stuff. I'm just like, bah.
Yeah, I had an early buy-in with X-Wing, and now, I mean, the tournaments they run here, I'm like, oh wow, everything got like 3 times the size. Because I had Slave 1 and the Millennium Falcon. I'm like, yeah, I'm high-fiving, I've got my X-Wing stuff. No.
Yeah, and then you can like buy all the expansions so you can have good upgrade cards to be able to, oh, I can do this, and oh, I can take this like Y-wing with like this upgrade with this, so I can shoot actually twice per turn, and then it's just like all this crazy stuff, and then blah blah blah, and it's like, oh yeah, that would be powerful. It's like, I'll let you guys, I'll just play the list you pre-make for me.
Yeah. Where's the kiddie pool for this? I'll go there.
I know. That's what I kind of liked about 40K, though. It wasn't overly complicated in this building.
No. Yeah. In fact, a lot of times people would just build one list and just perfect it, and then that would be what they played.
Yeah, I mean, there was still
thousands of dollars.
Yeah, there was still room for like some inventive lists and cool things, but for the most part, it was just like, yeah, you just bring it. Hopefully, you have enough answers for all their whatever stuff, and you just roll a bunch of dice.
Yep. But, you more so than others.
Yeah. Well, honestly, like, there would be like, well, working for Mini Wargaming where I played like, I don't know, 3, 4, 40K games a week, there would be like, I would get so good at list building that it would be like, people would come in and they're like, I'm playing Dark Elder. I'm like, cool. And I walk in, I'm like, I want these orcs and these orcs and this one and this one. Let's try this one. I haven't played that in a while. And this and this. That should be about 1,500 points. I'm like, add it all up in the computer. I'm like, oh, I'm 5 points off. And I'd be like, it was just like a feel to it kind of thing. And it was just like, yeah, that's about that. But now I'm like playing War Machine so much, and I'm building War Machine lists, and I'm just like, okay, what? Wait, no, and like that. I have to have the list. Okay, so I'm taking this. Okay, I only have this many points, so that only fits in this.
You built lists the most Wonkador ever.
It's true, compared to most, but it's not like I'm 5 points off. I just take one out of this unit and we're good. It's like,
you're not allowed to be.
Like it's like, oh, I got to take a min unit or a max unit. Oh no, that doesn't work because of this. So I'll have 3 extra points. So I might as well just not take out that and that unit. So it's a lot bigger corrections.
Yeah.
I am still kind of haphazard at it, but it works.
It's still a smaller scale game. I mean, part of the thing about 40K is you're playing so many models, and you've got your tanks, your different troop transports, and your fast attack, and your elite troops, and it takes up so much of the board that they're gonna probably use something. Whereas War Machine, gosh, like even a 50-point list, everything has to be serving a function, or they're completely ineffective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 40K, you're just like, hey, let's throw this guy, see what he does.
Yeah.
Like War Machine, you're like, is this guy gonna help answer that like, cause so like these guys can't deal with this, so this guy's gonna have to move in and do this.
Does it answer defense skew? Does it answer armor skew? Just changes your way of thinking about it, which I don't think Malifaux does. Admittedly, Malifaux's really nice about because the list building takes place after you know who you're fighting. I mean, so you kind of counter each other, but you have equal chance to, I guess.
Right. Essentially, the order of operations is, I think you get your schemes, and then, or you declare what faction I think you're playing, and then you get schemes. Sometimes those things happen before you build a list. Basically, that's what I'm trying to get at. You know what your objectives are going to be, and you know generally who you might be fighting, and then you put a list together, which is always good. Though I still manage to place like pretty much the same list every time. So it really doesn't matter for me.
But I just don't own enough of it. I have like the Lilith set and like the Pandora stuff, and I'm like, well, you're fighting one list or the other.
Yeah, I have. I think I don't think there's any guild models currently that I don't own.
Oh wow.
So, actually, that's not true. I don't have the Lady J box. The Lady J box is the one sort of hole in my collection right now for the guild. I recently put together a list of the Perdita crew, and those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
All the like Wild West Mexican gunslingers. Oh my God, they're so cool.
Yeah, I really loved the original Perdita model a lot.
Yeah.
Like there was just such a moxie to that model. Man.
The whole family is just fabulous. Especially the grandmother, Abuela Ortega.
Oh, really? I haven't seen her.
Ridiculous abilities. She's got a sawed-off shotgun, and she's in a wheelchair. And some of her abilities are like "Push me closer, dear," which is like movement shenanigans stuff, or like "Listen up, youngins," or a well-deserved whooping.
Well, I know Papa Loco has a lot of that.
Yeah.
Too. Like, hey, you killed me. I blow up.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
He also passes out dynamite to all of his family.
Hold this.
Here, hold this.
No, that yeah, I appreciate the I guess it's moxie, like just the way they're holding it.
Cool. I have Sonya and like 6 witchlings.
That was what I was playing before the Ortegas. I love her super like nuclear explosion abilities. Getting a severe on her was it flame burst attack and getting like 3 blasts to chain out and doing just like tons of damage to everything.
Yeah, you're just like, how much damage did I just do?
Yes. I remember playing a Baffle game, and Dan and I began a battle, and it was just your mean Sonya list versus Lilith is what I played. It was terrible. Everything about that game was so bad.
I'm just like, light fell on fire, and as you die, I spawn more witchlings.
You attacked me. Fire. You didn't attack me. Fire. Like, okay, I get it. Anyway.
It's good.
How about that Minoff box set? Have you had any experience with it?
Menoth. Actually, I haven't looked at this one yet. Let's see here.
It's you said you've got the exemplar errants with the solo, but not the UA. So there's it kind of limits you, and it has 3 jacks. You've got the Reckoner, Redeemer, and Vanquisher. That mean chain attack.
Well, Vanquisher has its place in some Menoth lists, and so we'll still see play. Reckoner is like arguably the best jack in the game, so that's a good, very good jack.
The Vanquisher isn't the Vanquisher, it's that heavy kit. So any of the other things that you can make with that.
Do you know what comes with it?
What comes in the Vanquisher one? Here, I bet I can pull it up real fast.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna look for it as well.
The errands are nice for that sacrifice rule, and you've got, I think it's Prime Siberius in there. Yeah. So he's mean.
It's like Crusader, and does it list these on the page? Crusader, Templar, Vanquisher.
Okay, Templar. Yeah, no, Templar sees some play in some army skew, like where they just want to put up lots of armor, and so they're 2 good kits to have for Jack. For the Redeemer, he used to see play before Colossals came out. I haven't really seen him since.
No.
But he can be fun.
What are the Colossals doing that the Redeemer did?
Well, the Redeemer was kind of like brought with, because he has like 3 shots that are AoE 3.
Uh-huh.
And so you used to bring him with, what's her face? The lady lights everything on fire.
Fiora? Yeah,
Fiora too. And then that would be your like bonded jack, and that would just kind of like spray fire, and anything it hits, even if it scatters, would light on fire. But then, when you got 4 of those instead from the the Colossal, it just was like a lot better.
Yeah.
Better to hide behind as well. The Redeemer, you'll still see it in some like Prime Krios lists, because although it has like inaccurate and you'll never hit anything, Prime Krios can knock something down, and then you can acquire the Redeemer, and the Redeemer shoots 3 rockets into a caster and will kill him.
Well, yeah, and you've got the Vassal of Menoth in this list too, so you have ancillary attack.
Yeah, so 4 tanks. Yeah. So I can see you. So not terrible as the late jack goes. There are better options, but can see use. Rupert is a fantastic. Gives tough and fearless. I mean, most of your units have fearless anyways, but getting tough or +1 defense is really solid, because errants are only defense 12, so putting him to 13 could be really good if.
He also gets in Pathfinder, doesn't he?
Yes, and he can do Pathfinder.
Because I think the UA to get Pathfinder, I don't think they have it natively.
Well, you're gonna have to buy the UA. There's no point in just playing the errands. You want the UA. I don't know why they put the Seneschal in there. The Seneschal is okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was to knock it down, because with the UA, those errands are really quite sick.
Yeah.
I think they're one of the strongest units.
Maybe the Seneschal just wasn't getting a lot of sales.
And then we got the Choir, which is pretty much an auto-include in every single army.
Always.
Owen found a way not to play without them for a while.
Of course he did.
He's like,
a problem solver.
But then also he started playing Choir. He's like, oh shoot, these are really good. I was like, yeah. But he was still winning games without them. So it all depends on like whether you're really focusing on. See, Menoth is like the Protectorate. Menoth is like the one War Machine faction that can actually run a lot of jacks well. I guess Convergence of Cyrus now too. But like everyone else kind of struggled to run lots of jacks.
Yeah.
Except for like 1 or 2 casters on the list, and Menoth could more or less reliably run lots of jacks more consistently than anyone else. And the Choir will just make your jacks insane, because Menoth jacks in general are slightly below average, and then with Choir they're slightly above average, or above average just in general.
Yeah, they're above average with Choir.
Yeah. So.
And it just makes the focus efficiency go through the roof. So.
It's good. And then there was the Vassal, and the Hierophant is also solid in lots of lists. When you want that extra focus. It basically gives you a free focus every turn because it makes one of your spells cost 1 less, and it can also heal. So yeah, just a solid little model. So again, it works well as a beginner box. If you're going for competitive play, might still be worth picking up.
Well, I mean,
because
of a really good deal on that many models.
Right, exactly.
So I mean, in any case, if you're interested in a faction, the All-in-One Army boxes are going to be a good deal financially.
Yeah.
So the 2 heavy jack kits, almost guaranteed you're going to pick those up. The Errants you're going to pick up, the Choir you're going to pick up, the Hierophant, Rupert, the Vassal, and the Caster. Those are all like guaranteed you're going to get those eventually as you're buying them. And the other ones are, there's only, what, two models then that are iffy? But you'll probably end up playing them at some point anyways if you collect that faction more, so. Yeah, solid box. I still think Khador is winning, though.
I think it's no, but we're about to come up on Cryx, so we'll see. We'll see if this.
Cryx, I don't know. I don't know about Cryx.
It's got
Right.
Yeah, it's got beans.
Of course, there's Banes.
Alright, so
Here we've
Cryx
got
box.
Epic Denegra, a Leviathan, 2 Night Ridge Bonejacks, the Bane Rider, which is, I think, they're, light cav?
They're the heavy calf.
They're the heavy cav?
Yeah.
It's like the soul somethings that are
Soul
the...
Hunters, I think.
Yeah. Bane Thrall unit, and with the Officer and Standard, and a War Witch Siren solo.
Alright. Epic Denegra right now is super, super popular. She has a tier list called Body and Soul, where you can start with your negative upkeeps on the enemy army across the board at the beginning of turn. Mainly there's one spell called Pursuit, where if you move that unit, then one of the battle group, including Denegra, can make an advance forward during your turn.
Yeah.
So you're like, I move my army forward, and they get to have a huge advantage. One of their jacks basically moves twice, or Denegra moves up more, so she can move up and feet, and no one can move. And so it's just, it's really, really nasty, especially when you're trying to assassinate Denegra, and then you move like somebody up with Pursuit, and then she just like moves out of assassination range, but you get to choose. So it's really, really strong list. It doesn't really use anything on this starter box though. So there's that. But anyways, she's a popular caster. She's very strong, great caster, fun to play. The Leviathan, well, we'll get back to them. Bane Riders, very solid heavy cavalry. They're more popular with Goreshade 3.
Yeah.
But they're still pretty good in general. I've seen them played with Scar and different things, and they're cavalry, so they're fun.
Well, and they have Ghostly, so they can like get through their models and stuff too.
Yeah, they're Cryx, just silliness. And Bane Thralls are a core. I don't see them overly often anymore.
You don't see what?
Bane Thralls. I mostly see Bane Knights.
Really?
It used to be the opposite.
Yeah. Well, the Thralls were so strong because the stealth aspect. But I know Knights. I guess. What do they hit harder? I know they have reach.
Bane Knights hit, I think, the same. They have one more armor.
Or 11.
They have Vengeance.
Vengeance, yeah.
And then having reach. And they have Ghostly.
Aren't the Thralls like natural weapon masters?
They are.
So are the other Banes.
They also have Dark Shroud, which reduces the enemy, that they're in melee with armor by 2. So they're
You'll always see them with Gaspy too.
What's that?
You'll always see them with Gaspy too still, because when you feat and bring lots of stuff back, you just get one Bane in there and it's -2 armor, and then get in. So you don't see I personally haven't seen as many Bane Thralls, but they're still a very solid unit, and your opponent will get very frustrated with you. The problem is they're only speed 5 with no reach, and so they are slow at getting into the battle, and so heavy shooty armies can, for example, Cygnar can just shoot them off the board. They have enough things that can ignore stealth that they really kind of just destroy them, while when you're fighting Bane, what did I just say? Not Bane Knights.
Yeah.
They, with the Vengeance move and the additional armor, gives them a little more survivability. And then they don't have stealth again, but they have the bigger threat range, and it's just Like they have like 5 inches more threat if you trigger Vengeance and with the reach. So it's good, but the thralls have basically immune knockdown. Like, well, they stand up for free at the beginning of the turn with the UA, and they have tough, and so that it makes them a lot harder to remove. They're a solid unit. They're very solid. I think the box would be stronger if it had Bane Knights, but Bane Thralls are also very good. Warwick Siren is the most insane solo ever. She does everything.
Unreasonable.
She does power booster, so she supports your jacks, and like when you need like all your focus, but you can give one focus to your one of your arc nodes to run up, and then you can use all your focus to blast someone away. Or she has like a magic ability 7 POW 10 spray that can just like wipe infantry off, and she has Shadowbind on the melee, so she can like stick jacks just like completely solid, so you can't do anything.
And Colossal.
And she's stealth, and she's like defense 15 with 5 boxes, and.
That's pretty. Yeah.
I hate this model so much, but it's so solid, so it's awesome to have in the box.
Yeah.
And then we come to the Leviathan, which is the heavy jack, and it also is that box is also the Harrower and the Desecrator. You like never see these jacks. They're very rarely seen, just because there's so many other good heavy jacks to bring instead. So that's like the only iffy thing here. Leviathan is a solid shooting jack. It's great. Harrower also decent. With Harrower's got the Thresher, right? And so can be pretty good. I think we wrote an article about with what's her face, Chris. What was that article we wrote?
Mortenebra?
Yeah, Mortenebra. Mortenebra can use a Leviathan or Harrower pretty well. But other than that, there are better jack options. But again, for a beginner list, it's more than fine. But the heavy jack is really the only thing that I'm kind of meh about. If it was another heavy jack kit, then I would say it was really solid starter list. But the jack is the only thing that holds me back from saying it's
weaker points. But I guess what would be better in there? Just like a Slayer and then just other units for...
Just in general, when you're building your Cryx army, you'll probably find more use for the other jacks.
Yeah. That's too bad.
But it's Cryx. The most of their units are very solid, and you'll be able to do well with them. I think Khador is still winning.
What do you think, Austin? Any of these boxes make you think, I would try this army?
I tell you, the one that I think looks the coolest that is not full of models I already own is probably Convergence. I think those models look super cool, but honestly I don't know enough about them to make any sort of informed decision. Like I know their general premise, but I don't know any of the specifics about what any of the stuff does, so I can't tell whether it's a good deal or not. I just think they look neat.
Well, I'll help you out here, Austin.
Awesome, let's look at it.
I actually haven't looked at this box yet, so we'll see what's going on here.
Father Lucant.
Yeah, Lucant.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's a very solid caster. His feat is everything is +4 armor.
So
you can't hurt him for a turn or his army. It's like really solid. And all repair rolls are automatic pass, I think.
Nice.
Field Marshal Shield Guard, by the way. So every warjack under there gets Shield Guard.
It's not like you're going to shoot LeComte off the board anyways. He always usually camps a half decent amount of focus, and he's got really good stats. So it's like really hard to shoot him regardless. But for the time when you need it, it's good.
Deceleration? Come on.
And he's got deceleration.
Oh.
So it's just armor. Like you can't kill my stuff very easily. Then you have the reductors, which wait, are these guys with the spray? Oh shoot, I gotta look this up. Dang it.
Which ones are you talking about?
The small base infantry.
The reductors.
Yeah, yeah. If they are what I think they are, they're solid. Really, really, what you're excited about is the Enigma Foundries. Those
Yeah,
two Foundries, they just provide recursion. So they gain souls for things that die around them.
Mm-hmm.
They get souls, and then they can bring back your units. So they can either bring back 3 small based or 1 medium based per turn.
Nice.
And they can hold up to 3 souls on them. And so if you don't kill them, and you don't kill more than 3 or 1 guy out of those units, then they're just coming back for free.
Well, your reductors there are have a range 6 spray,
Okay, yeah.
and they have the clear rule, so they never hit each other. Now it's only range 6, but that their PAL 13 spray attacks is actually really powerful.
PAL 13 spray on infantry? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, they're like, hey, come play Convergence. I mean, really good stuff.
What's their rat?
5.
So not terribly awesome, but not bad considering. And so what you can do, or what I've seen done, is you put your medium base infantry up front, and if people when people charge them or clog them or whatever, you have your reductors all behind, and they can just spray the backs of them like crazy and just wipe out whatever is clogging up your medium infantry.
Nice.
Then you can spawn a couple more of those medium infantry back with your Enigma Foundries, and then they can charge something and get in their face, and it's just like, what? And then you feet, and you're like, oh, well, I just killed some of your stuff, then lost a bunch of crap in the return, and now I can't even hurt you for a turn. And it's very solid.
Nice.
The Eradicators, they have 2 bucklers. They're only powerful strength 12, but
Can they do like a combo strike or something?
you get to choose during activation, either so they gain buckler, so you get +2 armor because both of them, or you get +2 attack, 2 to your mat, and so you go to mat 9.
Wow.
So you can either become much more heavier, or you just hit everything.
And they just do that to themselves. No big deal.
Right. And so they're already armor 15, so they can go to armor 17, which is decent, and they have 8 boxes each.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and sidestep. No big deal.
And then with sidestep, that's pretty cool too. They're only speed 5, but that's still pretty good.
Yeah,
I think I like the other medium infantry more, but they're not bad. They're not bad. You don't see those ones on the list as much as the other medium infantry is, but
really?
not still a solid choice. Still a solid choice. Then you have, let's see, the Jacks. You get the Galvanizer. One has a knockdown gun. The other has, oh man, I thought I knew this better.
Making it up.
I remember the inverter pretty well. It was the macro pummeler and the little like chain flail thing.
Yeah, he's just a good little beat stick Jack.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah. Well, and all of those heavy ones can't ever be knocked down, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, let's show our ignorance of how much we know Convergence of Zerdos.
So just as a fun example of how ridiculously much just random stuff I have laying around, I was looking at the diffuser, and I was looking at my desk, and I'm like, oh, a diffuser. How about that? Where'd you come from?
That's fantastic.
I think I had started to get some a while back and was like, yeah, I'll get around to this sometime.
The diffuser is cool because like you can shoot something and then things can charge it for free.
Nice.
And you get +2 movement. It's like Hunter's Mark. You like shoot it and you get Hunter's Mark.
Gotcha.
So.
Which I guess they are a very all-encompassing faction because I don't really think there's marks at all that work with them because they're super. They hate everybody.
They're crazy. Although in the new book, Haley almost becomes one of them.
Almost. It's kind of like, you know what? You guys kind of suck, so no. I'm just going to stick with My other Seki faction, Cygnar. No.
Nemo, the old wise man, that wonderful, wonderful man.
I would be heartbroken to see any further faction changes from casters. So.
Yeah, right. Oh, if we lost Haley, there'd be such an outrage.
We already lost Sturgis, so it's like you're the only faction to have had that happen.
Nobody cares about Sturgis, though.
I guess.
I like Cygnar Sturgis, but most people don't really care about him too much. And then wait, what are the Accretion Servitor solos? I don't remember those ones. Accretion Servitors are the ones that can bodge, so they repair automatically for 1 as an action, or they can
they have a
as an action do 1 damage to the Warjack. They're like the worst ones. They're terrible.
Yeah, nothing amazing going on there, I guess.
Balls of fail.
Yeah, there's so many other cool servitors that
The
are
human servitors are really good. The elimination servitors are pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. At the same time, for what you're getting, I wonder if it is. I mean, you get LeConte, you get the small base infantry, the eradicators, and the reductors, and the Enigma Foundry. Like, you're probably getting enough out of it that you can sort of see what you like about it and then start building units from there, which I'm sure is the idea for most of these, but yeah, I don't know.
The Optifix Directive is pretty cool, just because they're kind of like a repair unit, but they also have the ability to give a Jack magical weapons, and so when you need it, it's amazing. Like when you need like that whatever incorporeal, like you're playing Denny 2, and she goes incorporeal for a turn, and she's like and you're like, oh well, I'll give all my Jack's magical weapon. What now? And I'll kill you.
Yeah, wow, that's really nice.
So Optifix Directive you almost see in every list, so they're really good.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, gosh, that leaves us with just 1 left, doesn't it?
The Enumerator.
Only 1 boxes, but yes.
Oh.
The Enumerator.
What? Who is the Transverse Enumerator? Is he like an attachment? What is he? I don't even see him on my app. Whatever. I'm sure he's fine. Because of the extra point, like the extra dollar cost to it. Well, I mean, if you're interested in, it's hard. It's hard to say whether it's worth it or not. Because the Enigma Foundries are fantastic. If you're going to be playing LeConte, you're probably going to be playing Reductors. The Eradicators, again, I guess preference choice. You could be playing with them.
The Enumerator, you, by the way, just attach to one of the units, and it's very plug and play. So you can attach it to the Reductors or the Eradicators.
That's right. No, he's really good. You want him.
Yeah.
I remember him now. Yeah. Solid guy.
Yes, he's got some stats.
Yeah, I'd say it's a buy. I'd say it's okay. All of them are a buy so far. You know, beginner players getting introduced to faction, yeah. Competitive play, no. Maybe only the Khador box so far for that.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, that leaves us with the all-in-one army box for Retribution of Syra. Oh, let's see here. You've got Assyria, who's very solid. The most hypocritical pacifist I've ever seen, but, you know, that's about accurate, I guess. Manticore, a Banshee, like 2 Jacks that you don't really see, or Myrmidons you don't really see used. The House Guard Rifleman. You've got Iris 1. You've got House Guard Halberdiers, which are good tar pit, with the UA. House Guard Thane, who's a bastard. And an Arcanist, who's also quite good. So, I mean, everything there, possibly with the Myrmidons being the weakest, look pretty decent.
Yeah. What do those kits give you other than that? Oh.
I don't know.
Let's see. Because everything besides the battle group is solid so far.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, Austin, do you ever mess around, or have you really had to deal with Retribution very much? Did you know many players?
Yeah, actually, that is my minor faction, and most of that stuff there, with the exception of the Jacks, is stuff that I run. The only thing that I would say as like an alternate, like if you were to scrap this and completely start over, the only other thing that I would say you could potentially try to do was go Dawn Guard, just because they give you a little bit of both worlds, the riflemen and the halberdiers, giving you some decent range and some decent melee. But personally, this is the way that I would run it every time, except I would for sure add the rifleman UA on to get their mini feet. So.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, you can change out the heavy model kit is the Hydra, the Manticore, or the Phoenix. The Phoenix is amazing. Like,
Phoenix is probably still one of the best heavies that they've got, but I also really like the Hydra just because it's got the focus battery. So you put focus on it and it stays there between turns.
yeah.
It doesn't go away, and for every focus that's on it at the beginning of its activation, it gets +1 to range and +1 to POW on its shooting attacks. So if you're playing, who is it, Kylissa, or any of the other casters that have Phantom Hunter, you can throw that onto the Hydra. There we go. You throw that on the Hydra and start sniping stuff through terrain. So I was always using that as kind of almost like outflanking and trying to get a bead on their caster even from the beginning of the game, trying to just, bang down the door pretty early on, putting the pressure on the caster. So it's like you can't hide them anywhere. I'm gonna get them. So you got to start doing something, and that gives me time to position the halberdiers and the riflemen.
Yeah.
And Assyria also has what's it called? Ancillary attack.
Yes.
So she doesn't have any weapons at all, and so having a good solid ranged jack is kind of important for her.
Yeah.
Well, especially since under feet they can see stealth.
Yeah.
I mean, for whatever. I don't know if that's worth it for an assassination run necessarily, but it helps. And then I guess the other kit can be a banshee, a demon, or a sphinx. Which
I honestly don't remember that much about those jacks.
yeah.
I don't think I really used them too much.
Yeah, you just run the banshee, and really, the demon and the sphinx exist.
I hear Retribution has a lot of myrmidons. Turns out you only use 2. And then they're colossals, because I think both of their colossals are very viable.
No, their newer Jack, that character Jack. Oh, I can't remember his name right now. He's insanely good.
Morose? Is it Morose?
No. Oh, freaking.
Helios is the big guy. I don't know who you're talking about. It's not Morose.
It's he's so scary. He can like leap and stuff and sidestep, and he has 2 big weapons.
Porky? Are you talking about Imperatus?
Yeah, Imperative.
Oh, that's true. He's the new kid on the block. Yeah, I don't like him at all.
Imperative Rex face. He's so good.
He's a bully. That's right. If you don't believe in bullying, you won't let your friends play with Imperatus.
Anyways, so those are the War Machine boxes.
Yeah, I think we'll go over the Hordes one next time.
Yeah, that's fine. We've been talking for a while. I'm sick of you already, Miranda. I love you though, Austin. I wish I could talk to you forever.
Yeah.
No, I think my opinion is that all of them have some strong aspects that you're going to use no matter what, and then some other stuff thrown in. The Khador box is the one that has most relevant to, if you play Winter Guard. Some people just don't play Winter Guard at all, so the Khador box might not be for you. So if you've never ever played War Machine at all ever before, it doesn't really matter. They're all solid boxes. Pick what faction you want and play. If not, then just like look at your play style and kind of just see what you would play. But Khador is potentially the best one if you play Khador that way.
If you were to pit all of these little 35-point box sets against each other, I think that they would. Khador would be pretty strong. I think they'd be pretty strong. I don't know, again, against the Horde's side, but...
Lucan, I don't know, the Lucan list might be pretty strong.
Yeah. Mm.
If it was like equal player skill playing all these boxes. You know what? It's a contest, which is good. I don't think it's. I mean, your game went 8 turns, right? So it clearly wasn't one-sided. Yeah. Okay. So I think they did a pretty good job at evening them all out.
Yeah. Because I mean, none of these feels like a straight up like hardcore tournament list. I mean, they all have aspects to them that say somebody put some time and thought into these and actually made something that's worth buying and playing. But they all have aspects where you're like, if you really wanted to min-max this, you could have done this instead of that. Which I think, honestly, from a marketing standpoint, gives people a place to jump off and say, okay, well, I'll add on this thing, or I want more of these.
Yeah.
That's sneaky privateer press. We caught you. Roger, red-handed. We know what you're doing.
Yes, that's what that means, obviously. Well, yeah. I mean, and so none of them are designed to be that. They're just designed to give you an introduction to the game, and I think they do. It's just, I guess, that the Khador set, you kind of don't have to upgrade from there too quickly, whereas all the others, there's always an immediate buy of like, oh, I need to get the UA for the Minoth one or whatever.
And I feel like that was kind of what we said on most of these, where it's like, oh, we got this unit, it's a good unit, but you need the UA.
Yeah.
Or I would have picked a different Jack or something. I mean, it's a simple...
And there are those options, at least, in the boxes. They give you the whole kit so you can decide. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there.
Oh, I have good news. I forgot. We skipped our good news moments at the beginning. So I played in a tournament locally in Calgary. It was great. I got to the top 8 and went to the second day. Went 3-0 the first day. And then I lost my first game because I was an idiot. I got greedy and tried for stupid assassination runs like twice, and it was just like, no, why would I do that? And I lost. I didn't lose any models. I lost by scenario. I lost like 1 model in the whole game. Well, no, I lost more than that, but it was just like he had no chance of killing my Colossal or my other Storm Strider. It was like a massive mass Cygnar list against a super electric Cygnar list, and I was just like massacring half his army every turn. But Lexi, I didn't kill Lexi, and it was stupid. So I lost, but then I won another game. I got 6th place overall out of like 30-something people, maybe 40. I thought I did well. I was very proud.
Yeah.
It was good. I liked it. That's my good news moment.
Congratulations. I get back to playing, but I have so many new things to assemble. I got some Greylord Outriders in, so new stuff to assemble and probably pawn off painting. Well, on that note, I think we should probably go ahead and wrap it up. We've been yammering on for over an hour and whatnot.
All right.
Do you have any closing thoughts, Austin? I super appreciate you coming on and joining us and hanging out.
No, it was lots of fun. I had a good time. Well, it's been a while since I've had a halfway decent conversation about War Machine, so this was fun. I get to remember things about that game that I got burned out on. But
get back into it.
Yeah, maybe I will. Once we get a handle on some of the games we're trying to really learn right now, I think it'll probably be more of a possibility. But yeah. No,
in the meantime, you have some costume assembly to get to.
I do.
Yeah, good luck on that.
Yeah. Keep an eye on Facebook. I'm sure I'll have lots of pictures up. So.
I'll be excited for it.
Yep.
I always love what's like posted. Like you're like building crazy mechanical things or these weird things or this weird. I was just like, Austin lives such a full life. I love this.
No,
this is awesome.
Like a busy man. So.
I live a sleepless life.
Yeah, full, good and bad, full. But I love being your Facebook friend because it's.
Thank you.
There's always something, and you're not like posting like, oh, today was so hard and I feel so depressed. Like,
Look at the robot I made.
like me when I post on Facebook. No.
Yeah.
So, anyways, wrap it up. Thanks so much, Austin, and you can check out his company, Brush for Hire. That's Brush 4, number 4, Hire, and which will be changed to his new company soon. But for the meantime, link is in the description. Check his stuff out. His laser cutting stuff is pretty high quality, and it's good, solid stuff for lots of different factions and games. Miranda, any thoughts?
One of the comments in there earlier, totally just random, but they're asking about the new Colette set for Malifaux.
Yeah.
I really liked Colette with short hair. I don't know. I was looking at the set and like, well, the the mannequins or whatever look really cool, but she just had more personality with short hair, so my issue. It's my issue. Anyway, that's literally my comment. I don't know that you can cut it on a resin or plastic model.
No, I mean cut your hair.
What? Why in God's name would I do that?
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if you like short hair.
No. I'll do it later. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time. Whatever that is. Who knows? Stay tuned. Bye.
Bye.